Now what will it be? Death or exile?
Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of the TV Exiles. This week we are continuing our look at the HBO series Watchmen. As a reminder, we will be covering each episode with spoilers as we discuss the growing narrative. So let's get into episode 8. Let's start with a very brief official synopsis from HBO. Angela's mysterious past in Vietnam is at last revealed. My ongoing question every week has been, is this Watchmen? With only one episode left? Yes, this is definitely Watchmen. After so many teases for the character, Dr. Manhattan is finally here. The episode brings him to the forefront in a very big way, while bringing together a few of the plot lines just in time for the season finale. This episode forgoes the traditional past and present storytelling with flashbacks and quite brilliantly tells the story as Dr. Manhattan sees it, without the concept of time. While each scene plays out, we are introduced to other moments happening in different times and different locations. All of Dr. Manhattan's conversations are told separately, but are being experienced by him simultaneously. This allows for actions and conversations to affect the past, present, and future. We finally see the moments that lead to Dr. Manhattan disguising himself as one of us, as well as his struggle to actually be human. This leads to him visiting Karnak and Adrian Veidt to find a way to suppress his powers. It is this exchange that ends up sending Adrian to his current prison on Europa, although it's meant to be an Eden created by Dr. Manhattan. We also see all of Dr. Manhattan's foretelling coming true in modern day as the 7th Cavalry comes to capture him. And we see a few great moments that show the love between him and Angela Abar, again echoed through time back to their first conversation. Our final moments end with a shootout between Angela and the 7th Cavalry as they move to accomplish their task, leading to Dr. Manhattan intervening by liquefying many of the cavalry and exploding the heads of the rest. But as he foretold when they first met, the episode ends in tragedy when one last cavalry member is able to fire a tachyon cannon and teleport Dr. Manhattan away. From a technical standpoint, this episode actually bugged me quite a bit. The editing, the acting, the music are all as well done as ever, but it's the look of Dr. Manhattan that I'm having trouble with accepting. There are a few different looks throughout the episode, each of them with their own problems. First off, many of the close-up shots on his skin when he is not glowing just look like a guy covered in blue paint. It's not really an amateurish paint job, but to me, it looked very noticeable, and it somewhat lessens the realism of that character. His look when illuminated blue is greatly improved, but lacks a kind of presence that the film and comic book had with his larger, more muscular build. And my last complaint is his eyes. When they are white, like in the book or the film, it looks good. But for many of the dialogue scenes, it reverts back to his normal eyes. It is moments like this that break the immersion for me, as he looks more like a member of the Blue Man Group than a godlike being. I feel they did this more for the audience to have something to connect to emotionally, similar to how characters in the newer Marvel films always disengage their helmets during a fight to talk to other characters. But for Dr. Manhattan, this undermines that he is supposed to be almost emotionless. His blank stare and monotone voice are necessary to disconnect us from him. Some of these gripes might be less evident if the Dr. Manhattan portrayed by Billy Crudup in the film wasn't borderline perfect, but it's hard to avoid comparing the two. Moving on, let's talk a couple of Easter eggs. The most noticeable one was the opening scene when Dr. Manhattan walks into a bar in Vietnam. The name of the bar is Eddie's, obviously referring to Eddie Blake, aka the comedian. There is no indication that this is the same bar made famous by the book in the film, but it's still a great nod to the character. Also, some great attention to detail when Dr. Manhattan visits Adrian at Karnak. We see the glass dome in the background, still destroyed from the events of the book and the film. And other great nods to the continuity are around, like when Adrian is watching world events on his wall of televisions, and one of the lower monitors is still shattered from the past altercation with Rorschach, Silk Spectre, and Night Owl in the original events of the book. So that's it. We're now down to the final episode of the season. Many questions were answered in the last couple of weeks, but many more are still unanswered. While I'm still not completely sold on the show, I am looking forward to a hopefully great season finale that brings everything together. And that will do it for this week. And until next time, stay exiled.